Hello, everybody. Welcome. I am Broadlawn's health coach, Corey Lewis, and I am here today with my friend Kayla Bell-Consolver, director of the Drake University Counseling Center. Broadlawn's is proud to partner with Drake University on these important health services. And we are glad to have you here to help us talk about holiday burnout, which is so important, and how to take care of your mental health during the holidays. So, Kayla, again, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So what is holiday burnout?
Yeah, so holiday burnout is the stress built from one's own or others' expectations put on themselves, especially around the holiday season. And so sometimes it feels like, think about regular burnout, like when you're like, I'm just exhausted. Holiday burnout really, it increases around the holiday season.
Right. So are there people that are more prone to holiday burnout than others?
Yes, actually. So 64% of individuals that had a predisposition towards a mental illness or had already been struggling with a mental illness reported even more stress and anxiety and overwhelm around the holiday season. So if you're someone that's already been struggling, I would say you might be more susceptible. But even thinking, I think all of us, especially this year, when we think about the pandemic, just the consistent stress and adjusting and overwhelm can make someone a little bit more vulnerable. And of course, anyone that has had any sorts of trauma or stress around the holiday season, thinking about grief and loss, it makes it a little bit more difficult to manage.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. So what are some signs that people or some symptoms people should be looking out for of holiday burnout or depression?
Right. Yeah. So I would say the obvious ones, of course, would be like exhaustion. Right. You're waking up in the morning and you just feel really overwhelmed and you're tired to get through your day. Or it's like you're feeling a little more anxious, right? It's like I have to get all these things done and you're feeling like you don't have enough time, or you're feeling like you're not going to be good enough if you're not able to get these things done. Some of the other things that make it a little bit more difficult that are subtle are just feeling a little more irritable, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like all of a sudden things might just be bothering you a little bit more than they typically had. You might notice yourself just maybe not wanting to do the things that you typically do. So you might, let's say you're cooking, you're buying things, and that's your typical pattern. It's just a little harder to do that for you. So for some people, they may lose interest completely and be unable to do that. And for others, they just kind of get through it, but they're not as excited as they typically would be.
Right. Yeah. So there's somebody watching right now, mm-hmm. and they're hearing you talk, and they're saying, this is me right now. What are some tips or some strategies that they can implement during this holiday season to mm-hmm. help them get through a little bit better?
Well, first and foremost, I would say make time for yourself. Because something that happens when we think about the holiday season, we're thinking, okay, I have all these traditions that I have to do, right? I have to make my family proud. If you have kids, you have to make your kids proud. If you're a student, you're just like, okay, I have to make up for all this time I feel like I lost because I'm not with my family often. And then we lose that sense of self-care, right?
Right.
So even no matter what you're doing, whether it's joyful, it's exciting for you, make time to, maybe exercise, to eat something that's comfortable. I know we're going to love cookies. I know I'm one that just loves to just have a bunch of cookies, but also making sure I don't lose my nutrition and things like that. Drinking water, making sure I have time for rest and sleep. And all those aspects, I would say, to take care of yourself. Another tip that someone might be able to do is to take a break, right? It will never feel like things are going to get done, right? It's like I have all these things to do. I have to do everything before the holiday shows up. I have to clean, all of that aspect. And we forget how to rest. We forget how to take a break. And so even if that's just sitting on the couch, sitting on a chair, finding time to just do nothing is really important, even if it's 5 to 15 minutes. And then last but not least, to give yourself permission to say no. Right? There's going to be a lot of people that want things from you. There might be a part of you that is wanting more from you. Maybe that's I do a lot of inner child work, right? So maybe that's your younger child that's just like, you have to do all these things because it's so fun around the holiday. Give yourself permission to say no. Or maybe even not right now. Or like, let me check and see how I'm feeling before you say yes. So that way you don't overexert yourself or burn yourself out even more.
Right. You hear that term, there's power in saying no, mm-hmm. right?
Yeah.
So I know we're talking a lot about holiday burnout, mm-hmm. and some of these things kind of go past the holidays, that depression, that stress. Where can someone, if someone needs professional help, where can they turn?
Absolutely. So I would say if you're a Drake student, since we have that partnership, you can always reach out to the counseling center. We offer walk-in hours, especially like the week before someone goes home for the holiday break, just to make sure they can have access to care. If you're someone within the community, you can always reach out to Broadlawns, and we have broadlawns.org is where you can find more of the resources available here. But we have our crisis observation center here. So if someone, like I said, more susceptible with past mental health concerns, that's a 24/7 resource. And so if you're noticing the burnout is leading into other things like suicidal thoughts, extreme overwhelm, self-harming, that's a space that you might be able to use any time in the day. And another place that you might be able to use is our psych urgent care here at Broadlands, and that's open Monday through Fridays from 9 to 5. I imagine those hours might shift, a little bit with the holiday, but that's a place that you can have an evaluation. You can talk to someone if you notice yourself in crisis.
Right. Kayla, thank you so much for chopping it over with me today. And again, just like she said, if you have any questions or need any services, go to www.broadlawns.org. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you.
Thank you.